Hey, beautiful people, welcome to the Be Official podcast. I'm your guy, your host, Paul Payne837. And I just want to say thank you so much for the overwhelming love and support you guys have been showing us. Yeah, we've been on a quick one, you know what I'm saying? We've been on a quick one, and I've been up on my sleeves are pretty, like, this pretty past days, at least I've managed, giving you some episodes, unlike where it used to pass like months before we could give you latest episodes. But yeah, here we are, brand new, feeling fresh, feeling cool, feeling good. But today is really emotional for me because the song I'm going to talk about, the song where we're breaking down behind the song today is pretty an emotional song, and yeah, it's titled Emotional Blood. Yeah, I don't know what I think it's the way the song was just coming out, like the way I was portraying the emotions on the track is what led to the emotional blood. And not blood like drip, but anyway, yeah, it's more like blood, because I'm speaking about things that I have been through and I've gone through and I keep on going through, on my daily basis. So today's song is titled Emotional Blood, and yeah, produced by Fusa, all the way from Uganda. Shout out to Fusa, man, great guy. And yeah, so this song is pretty much, the type of thing where it's really hard to talk about because pretty much everything laid in there, man. This is my life story. This is just like me being vulnerable and all that kind of stuff, because that's what my music is all about, man. To be honest, like 3/4 of all my music is me being vulnerable on a song. Me being vulnerable on a song. And just like a short story, shout out to one of my exes, man. She there's this one time I met her, listen to one of the songs, there's a song I did with DJ Victor titled Nakana. I didn't make her listen. She heard that song way before we even started going out and stuff. So she's like, one of the songs that I really love that you did was Nakana, because it brought out something different from you. This was a song that was speaking about gender-based violence, like talking about the things that your family was going through. And, I could relate. That song really brought me close, and if, she reminded me of my starting points, way before when I was starting up, I there's a song I did titled Addiction. That song talked about the addictions I was going through, this song brought a different type and different kind of me, and this was a song that really brought me to the masses, like people getting to know more about me. And the crazier part is people related to the song way different than the songs I thought would speak to them. There are songs that you just do for the sake of, okay, we're creating a jam, slaying demons, doing this and that, yeah, praise God. Not meaning that those songs are bad, but I felt like I wasn't getting to being at a maximum level of me portraying something to God, like me giving out the best to what God called me to do, And it was at that point until I did Addiction that song brought a different side, and people related, and a lot of people came to me and told me how that song played a big part in their lives, So she told me one thing: if you want to really be the best version of yourself, you really need to be vulnerable in your songs. And it was more like a confirmation, because this is something I was struggling with, trying to to like speak upon, because these are really things that I'm just switching off my internet because notifications keep coming in. Yeah, sir. So it was more like a confirmation of I really needed to be on a whole different pace. Like I really needed to speak to an audience that is lost like I was, trying to find the definition of who you truly are. That's where the Be Official comes in, It's finding who you truly are, where God positioned you to be, knowing the gift that God gave you and understanding how to use that. And not just following trends or following anybody, but understanding that God created you for a specific task. So it was a confirmation on my end when she said those words, and yeah, here we are today. So the title of the song is titled Emotional Blood, just like I said before. And so we were chopping it up, breaking it down. Let's roll the dice. So the song is straight away, no chorus. It's just like, phew. Other people call it a freestyle style, that kind of stuff. But yeah, just like a straight out song. So I'm from a broken home where fighting was a love sign, where speaking about certain issues wasn't fine. I'm facing temper issues, man. It's in the bloodline. Just from the first line itself, it's now when I realized that, there are certain things that were normal whilst we were growing up, like parents fighting, parents yelling at each other, just being in an environment where you can sit on a table as a family eating together. These were things that were just normal. But when I grew up and started realizing and seeing all these things, I was like, hold up. This was really one toxic environment I was in. My siblings were in. And growing up, to us, that seemed to be like, it's a normal thing, because this were the things we were exposed to. And it was really something that was just like, that's how we live, So growing up made me realize that I had to do a reset. I had to do a reset because certain things were now running through my bloodstreams. What I'm trying to say is now I started picking up on those certain pecs that were going on, I now was keen to anger issues, temper issues, all these type of things now were things I started walking into. So that's where the running in my bloodline comes in, so yeah. I lost my mom, I got depression, but I act fine because a man is never prone to show a weak sign. They'll be calling you a simp, trust your own line. The most difficult state was when mom passed away, it's until this day that it still even haunts me, like, I want to say, there's a part of me that just want to say, I'm over it. Nah, I'm a man. Nah. I think growing up, my generation was taught to never show any weeks, especially for us men, Every time you try to, like, you hate yourself, fall down, you hate yourself, they'll tell you, kosa leader, mamuna safungo leader, meaning men are not supposed to cry. When you hurt yourself, you need to man up. You need to be a man. You don't need to show any weak signs because that's not being a man. So we grew up with that masculinity kind of thing, like I can't show emotions, I can't show my vulnerability and stuff because people call me weak, especially in today's age where they call you a simp, call you weak, call you all sort of names and trash you, so making it very hard for you to even express yourself. That's why you find that majority of the suicidal rates come from men, because of the same lineage we have been exposed to of not showing feelings, of not showing who you're supposed to be. Like, you are a man. Tears were created for a reason, and that's the reason where the relief comes in when you pull out. There's this certain relief when you cry out loud, when you express yourself. There's just this relief that comes out of you, and you feel like it's like a it's like a breath of fresh air. Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air, where you feel at ease and you feel empty because you've pulled out those emotions that were holding you back, that were holding you in, So it's very important for you as a man to always show vulnerability and stuff, to always show the other side of you that is a very dangerous side, because that other side can lead you to you ending your life, and I choose life over death. Yeah. Yes, if not ending my own life, I would rather choose life over death, So it's a very delicate thing, especially when coming to being vulnerable. I think this is one message we don't tend to talk about a lot, It's being vulnerable, finding people you can talk to in your circle who you trust very much to speaking about certain issues. I think that's where we normally find the struggle and the balance, because nowadays it's pretty hard again to find people to trust. Other people just want to use you. Other people just want to expose you. And yeah, it's really a sad world, But one thing I can't lie to you is being vulnerable to God, exposing yourself to God. He's one of the most trusted source, because He's the source. Be vulnerable to Him, expose yourself to Him, let Him know what you're going through. Cry if you need to cry, sit down, be on the floor if you need to be on the floor. Speak to Him, because He listens well. Before I go way too deep, let me continue. So I drowned myself in liquor. It's a bottom line. My mommy, daddy were divorced at an early age. I'm always breaking up with girls at an early stage. So there were times when I could find myself trying to sip on alcohol, because I was trying to suppress all these feelings that were within me, because I didn't have a source to run to. I didn't have where to run to apart from the liquor, the bottle. That's where the source was. That's where I felt the utmost power of, suppress what I have rather than me speak about it. And so I drowned myself. My mommy, dad were divorced, and then so all these things. Then how can I put it? Then at the midst of all these things, right? You're young as a kid, and your parents divorced, and these are the people you looked at. Like, these were sort of like a mirror of what love looked like. These were the people you looked up to when it came to what love was like, and then you get to hear that these people are divorced. For me, it was kind of different. My siblings were there when everything was happening. I was in school, in boarding, so when the news approached me, it was really sudden, and this was towards my end of term exams, and I get to hear such news. To be honest with you, I really failed that term because I couldn't understand, I failed to understand. I just couldn't wait to go home and hear what really happened, and being young and being exposed to such was really damaging to me, was really damaging to me. Until now, I really try to fight with all these emotions that are within me that always sometimes lead me to depression, because this is something that really haunts me a lot, So a minute I'll be happy, then I would find myself battling with that. And speaking to my siblings, my close friends, I think this is one thing that really helps me a lot, because if I wasn't in that state, trust me, I think it would be a whole different case and a whole different scenario. So these whole things, we don't tend to speak about it a lot, especially when it comes to depression, so I'm always breaking up with girls at an early stage. The fear of being broken first, I always gauge. I carry a lot of other issues in my backstage. So before I really got out of that system, out of the life I used to live, because of the exposure I was with at that stage, I felt it was okay living, like you living first, breaking up with girls at an early stage. I think for me, that was normal, because this was one thing I was exposed to. I was wrong, I was really wrong. And I remember calling all my exes, apologizing for the damage that I caused. It wasn't easy, but I had to chop my ego off. And trust me, I think 90% of the men, only if you're willing to do that, because it really took a lot for me, man. Just like picking out, finding those numbers and calling them was just like something else, it really took a toll on me, understanding that it's not okay just leaving people, it's not okay just leaving people. You have to be in a place where you have empathy of thinking and sitting down with the other person, speaking about certain issues and making them understand, though other people don't understand, but other people will understand, These are things that in our African culture we were never prepped for, where parents sit you down and tell you their reasons why they're divorcing, but rather will just do it for the sake of their own sake. And I think this is something that our upcoming generation should ought to change, Like, these are things that we have to expose our children to certain different type of things, making them understand, and just like preaching a different message, and like repeating the whole history thing, And I know it's kind of complicated if you look at it from a different angle, but everything that's worth it is a fight. You need to put in a fight, man. If you're building an empire, you need to put in a fight. If you're building a skyscraper, the foundation has to be deep, So looking at how our generation is, where parents are now working triple shifts, and you have to keep up with ends meet. But by the end of the day, you can't give anybody to teach your children how to live. You can't leave your children in any other person's hands, but you have to really be the parent, because charity begins at home. So I go home. I must skip this because it's getting too long now. So see, life was so hard I could smell cement. Just to see my mama smile, I hustle for percent. I promised her a better day, but God knew. Rejection never bothers me. I've been a black sheep. Rejected by my own dad, I felt the hellfire. He never even looked back, called me out a liar. Became a father figure, buried him that very day. Mama held my hand, she told me that it would be okay. So these were instances. Let me even take it back. Like, rejection for me has been something that hasn't bothered me that much, when somebody, especially when it comes to, the music biz is crazy. To be honest, music is not for the faint-hearted, You take your song to somebody, they reject it. You take your song to blogs, they reject it. You take your songs to our so-called Christian brothers and they'll trash you off, Looking at, especially in our Christian community, the Christian circles, everybody has a team. They have their favorites, they have all this kind of people. So you'll find that in instances where, especially if you're coming up and you don't know anybody, it's really crazy because now you have all these gatekeepers that you have to kiss their butt just to have a chance, to have a platform, all that kind of stuff. But it's really insane, Your music might be good. Your music might be good. And that's one component that might intimidate them too, So I've gone through all these clatters and stuff and, I've been rejected. People, people speak ill and stuff, and it just never, it will bother me for just a little, but I'm one person who's quick to brush it off because of the background I was from, and this is something that I programmed myself to, because I was rejected by my own father, and this is my father, so if a stranger rejects me, it didn't mean much to me, it didn't mean much to me. All I do is, okay, dust off, work, rise up, dust off, then move on. It is what it is, so it's a type of thing where you just need to prepare yourself and be in a position where you really solidify that. It's probably like you're really rooted because not everybody's for you. And sometimes rejection is not denial, sometimes it's being diverted to your true calling, because sometimes probably that door wasn't meant for you. Probably that opportunity wasn't meant for you, and so you just need to soldier on and just like, okay, this has happened. So what's the next step? And like being seated in your own past. Better look at the future because the past has nothing to do with you. Your future is calling you. The future needs you. Your future loves you. Yeah, so you need to be in a place where you're very quick at analyzing things, okay? And just understand that God loves you. And everything He's done it for you. So you just need to put yourself in a place where you understand the fundamentals of yourself, understand who you are, and be in a place where people don't get to you easily, because it's what they say, it's what they throw at you that they would want to break you. But always be rooted so deep that they can't root you off. Yeah. So that woman never gave up, man. She used to pray. Taught me how to be a man. See, she paved the way. Seeing us doing fine, it's only God's grace. Family never supported us in our case. Only a few people showed up at our place. I can tell when a friend is acting to face. So, Mom really played a big role in my life, man. She really played a big role in my life. And that's why it still breaks me to today, because I promised her a better day, I promised her if your son will win, man, I'll take you the whole world, man. I'll tour you the whole world. I'll show you I'll buy you anything that you want, I'll fly you to the US of A, These were things that I was telling her, and she could laugh, we would chat and laugh about it and stuff. Family never supports us in our case. To be honest with you, for me, music, when it comes to family, this is something that I think this story happens with every creative, if I can put it that way. Every creative might relate. Family, it's not all the time the family will come in fully, especially when the dream is developing. There are a lot of doubts there, No, you'd have done that, da 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 da. It's another story for a day. But I think that has never stopped me. I think that thing has always driven me even more to push. But it's now that they're slowly showing, like some certain attributes of, supporting the whole thing. And I'm really grateful. Don't get me wrong. I am really grateful for that. I am really, really grateful. But it's on the financial side, being a creative, being in a space where everything requires you to have certain checks and balances, I think it really means a lot, Music videos need money. Recording on itself needs money. Everything that you see needs money, from the artwork, the recording process, the photos. Everything that you see requires money. And if you don't have anything to fall back on, this is one thing you find very talented individuals are now just going to 9-to-5s, because there isn't like the music biz requires a lot of money. There was a clip I saw Akon speaking about. He was advising if you're an artist, if you want to become an artist, I advise you not to be one. You'd rather, if you have a 200,000 plus, invest it in something else. And that hit me. He had a point. It really had a point, because music drains you. There's just a lot that you need to invest in: marketing, publicists, paying radio DJs, paying all these components that are filled in, like it's really a lot. Branding yourself, all these things, require a lot of energy, require a lot of things. But if you're really passionate about your dream, about what God has given you, God opens doors, man. God opens ways. All you need to do is, if this is a calling that has been placed on your life, you really need to put yourself fully whole in. That's what I'm saying. Music is not for the faint-hearted. You need to be rooted in, You need to be fully ingested in. Get a 9-to-5 work, but also that money you're getting, invest in your craft. Invest in your craft, man. Find different skills, Learn certain things that you need to learn, Add all these certain things to your creative, I can just say portfolio, Learn all these attributes that will push you further in what you need to do for your livelihood, So, yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Emotional Blood. And shout outs to everybody, who is purchasing the merch on the Be Official site. That's Paul Payne837.com. Thank you so much. And I have a membership that is open now, only for $10 per month. If you want, you can do it annually with 30% off. And you'll get exclusive content like music, performance videos, and official music videos. You'll be the first to have them at your glance. So thank you so much for joining me. I've been your host. I've been your guy, Paul Payne837. Sayonara.